All right. Well, let's wrap up this wonderful show with the lightning round. Michael, we're going to you first. The Golden Globes are adding a new category recognizing podcasts this year. If not your episode, this episode of the OmniTalk Retail Fast Five, which podcast would you put in the running?
Is this like a podcast in general or just a specific podcast? I forgot to ask that.
It's any podcast from what I understand. So it could
So,
be call if it's, Call Her Daddy, whatever you want. It could be, the How
Michael's
I
dialing
Built
up
This.
Call Her Daddy every week.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
it's interesting. Call Her Daddy, I have listened to it because I actually think her business story is absolutely remarkable.
Yes,
So
it
I'm
is.
totally intrigued by it.
It is,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I do think from a target audience standpoint, the content that she produces is dead on. That podcast is not for me in any way, shape, or form, but I think she's a genius at targeting her basically her customer base or her demo. And I saw an interview with her and Dave Portnoy, which obviously she started on Barstool,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and him being the normal brash person that he said to Alex, he said, well, you're just Barstool 2.0. But it's pretty interesting because she kind of poo-pooed that quickly. But if you step
Obviously.
back,
Yeah.
you kind of go, it's interesting. She has now taken over the microphone and sort of the flag of that generation, which there are massive amounts of millennials and Gen Zers and even Alpha that hopefully they're not all listening to that podcast based on the vulgarity of some of it. But not being political, my choice would be Tucker Carlson. I find him very interesting,
Oh.
and this may sound crazy, but very uh, I don't know if neutral is the right word, but inquisitive. And I heard a podcast. I was driving, we were on a long trip, and I heard a podcast that he did about COVID and the COVID virus and the actual components from a biological standpoint. It was fascinating and it was very educational. And I've done research to see like if what he was saying was right or wrong, and he was completely down the middle of the road. So I find him very interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Like to stay informed. All right. The Fall of Favre. Back to you, Michael, again, and then we'll hit Chris with the final two. The Fall of Favre, the latest in Netflix's series of sports documentaries, retraces the good time gunslinger's arc from humble Mississippi beginnings to his NFL peak to the texting scandal that tarnished his reputation. Where does Favre rank for you in terms of all-time quarterback greats? Top 10, top 20, doesn't rank at all. Where do you put him?
So weird. You gotta judge these guys because they're public figures, I guess, on the whole body of work, right?
Yeah.
So based on his sports stats, he's like top three quarterbacks from his
Whoa.
stats, or top five. I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
when all the,
Yeah, he's
the
up
stuff
there.
was coming from Tom Brady, um, and when he ranks in all of the stats, whatever they are, very, very high. And his age, he was very old when he was still competing at a very high level. So he's,
Nice.
from a physicality, sports, deliverable standpoint, very high. From off the field behavior, he's like top 100. I mean, really like tarnishing his reputation.
Bottom
So
of the
this
bell
one,
curve. Yeah, right.
yeah, so this one I've got no vote. I can't really place him because it's too tough to figure out where do you weight which, and how do you do it. But he's definitely a tale of two cities.
So, and he
my
takes
God.
your approach. He abstains.
That's
That's
right.
great.
Yeah, I'm abstaining
I
from this
support
one.
that. I support that. All right, Christy. So question number 3. Netflix just picked up Sesame Street streaming rights. Who is your Sesame Street spirit animal, or I guess puppet? Maybe is the puppet.
Yeah, right. Good call.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's pretty easy because when I was 3 years old, I dressed up as Cookie Monster for Halloween. So I'm gonna have to go there.
Perfect.
That's definitely a puppet. I don't think Cookie Monster really
Definitely-
exists as an animal.
That's true. Definitely a
Not like
puppet.
Big Bird. All right, last one. Starbucks unveiled its new summer product lineup yesterday, including a new iced horchata oat milk shaken espresso and the return of fan favorite Summerberry Starbucks refreshers and a new strawberries and cream cake pop. Which of these items do you most want to imbibe this summer, Christisa?
Probably the summer berry refresher, low sugar,
Oh,
the least amount of
okay.
sugar of all the new items.
Yeah. That horchata though sounds tasty. I can't wait to
It
give
does.
that
It
a try.
does. My
All
nephews like the
right.
cake pops, so I'm sure I'll be buying both.
Nice. Yeah,
Is
right.
it
For sure.
me?
Mike.
Is it me, or do you guys feel guilty if you just go into Starbucks and order a regular coffee? Like, I mean, it's amazing, right? The lineup they have.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is hard not to get swayed by something a little bit extra and a little bit sweeter. So, all right. Well, that
I
was a.
made
Oh, go ahead,
sorry,
Michael.
one last thing, and then I'll like close it out, Chris. We were on a project and we had a tried and true Starbucks lover, and he would do whatever crazy drink was out there. And somewhere around Easter, there was a green matcha with like purple foam on the top, oat milk, lavender thing. And we all made a ton of fun of him. But my wife had one recently and I drank it. It was the best drink I've ever had in my life. So
What was it called? Do you remember for our fans what it was called?
it's
How do you
a
order
it's
it?
a matcha lavender oat milk latte.
Okay,
Iced
awesome.
latte. Iced latte.
Ice latte. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, got it, got
it's
it.
fabulous. It's right on the front of all of the Starbucks apps. Now maybe they're targeting me now because I did that, but um, now a believer in in non regular coffee drinks at Starbucks.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. So fans, listen up. Go get one today.